Hi, I'm Elaine Brewster. Welcome to Aspects of Energy, a forum where we talk about ways to raise your energy. The idea being that there are things out there that can help us to heal and help us to be healthier if we raise our energy. My mom, back in the day, was only given surgeries and drugs. And she was born in 1915 and she was sick her whole life. And so that's all they had. They didn't have other choices. Everybody on this call today has other choices, and that's what we want to share with you. Sometimes, well, we're going to talk today about necklaces. So here's a metal one, and it's stainless steel. And here's one that's made of a silicone base, and it just, whoa, and it just pulls apart and puts back together again. And they have this one has magnets in it, and then this one has 3 different technologies in it: magnets and ceramic reflective fibers and tourmaline. And we can tell you why, but these are natural energies from the earth. And so I know some people who typically wear one of these necklaces all the time, and I am so very curious as to why they would do that. So let's start with Marcia, and you can tell us why you wear one.
All right, so I'm wearing this, and I also very often will wear a second one, mainly because I often have a little tickle in my throat. Clearing my throat a lot. It's whatever the reason is, hereditary, kind of a nasal drip thing, but it's just very annoying, especially when you're trying to have a conversation, you're constantly going and coughing and whatever. So I realized I actually saw Dee wearing hers like that with a little knot by the magnet. And I said, oh, that looks like a great idea. I can put it right where it tickles all the time. So I started wearing it like that. And I rarely have that issue anymore, that kind of interruption to a conversation, that annoying feeling in my throat. All my things are kind of little things, but it's quality of life. And the most annoying, the most uncomfortable thing is like the back of my neck. I was in a car accident many years ago, which affected my back and my neck. And this has always been an issue in terms of comfort. I sometimes would get numbness in my hand because of some of the position of my neck. So I realized when I started wearing the necklaces that it just felt more comfortable, that my neck was looser. I didn't have like sizzling feeling and that annoying discomfort that was kind of following me around all the time. And I even wear it at night when I sleep, and I sleep better. I'm more comfortable. My neck is more comfortable at night. My neck is more comfortable all the time. The only time I ever take it off, and I really don't have to, is when I go in the shower. So it's always, always, always on my neck. And my family has benefited tremendously from it because both my daughter, for different reasons, and my husband have at various times breathing issues. My husband had some really serious allergies when we first got together 30 some odd years ago. And when I got involved with Nikken, I said, honey, why don't you try wearing the necklace? See if that makes any difference. And he did not like wearing jewelry. It was a big deal to get him to wear the necklace. But once he started wearing it, he did see a difference. And he wasn't having all the sneezing. And every time there was, that season when you're sneezing and your nose is running and he was popping those little red pills, like millions of them. And it was like really bad news. So he doesn't have to do that at all, ever anymore.
Wow.
So my daughter, yeah, which was wonderful. And my daughter, whenever she starts having any sleeping issues or because of her breathing, and it's a chemical kind of thing, she's a really bad chemical sensitivity. And that helps her with her breathing. She'll put the necklace on and her breathing will kind of open up. Her chest will open up and her lungs will be happier. So lot of different ways this necklace has been really wonderful for my family as well as myself.
Thank you very much, Marcia. That's interesting. Okay, Lorraine from Canada.
Oh, yeah. Yes, in hot British Columbia. Yes, it's funny. I started wearing my necklace when I first joined Nikken 21 years ago. Prior to that, I did have some health issues that resulted in some treatment I needed. And I was always proactive with my health, and I wasn't really finding the right things to really maintain it. But when Nikken came around, I said, wow. So I developed a wellness home very quickly, and I've been living with these products and very diligently keeping up to date with them and using them. And a few years ago, I said to myself, wow, there's something to these products. I'm feeling so good. I was running an aquasize class at the time, and I says, it sort of just hit me. Okay, these things really work. And of course, now being on computer a lot and with all the Wi-Fi around us, and we are living in this electromagnetic field all the time. I'm very encouraged to know that I've got my body in an optimal position that will maintain my health. My health may not be perfect, but doggone it, I sure enjoy the energy of it, and I feel very blessed to know that I wanted to be like everybody else, wear this necklace. I went to a convention in Toronto when they had it a couple of years ago, and I could tell exactly who were Nikken consultants because everybody had one of these on. It was an identity.
The tribe, the community. Great. Yes, I have heard that. I also have a Kenko ground that's under my computer on the floor. And so I take off my shoes and I put bare feet on that. And then lots of times I will, wear something like this or the other as a little bit of extra protection. That's great. Okay, Barbara.
Hey, Lane, thanks for having me on today and sharing. I love the magnetics and the technology. And I know I have the fancy necklaces, but I keep this one on, and you can kind of hear I'm raspy. I have a raspy voice, but it's the first thing that goes for me. So I put a little knot in mine, and that way it's a little shorter, and it is a stainless steel clasp, so it can get wet, because I have a lot of children with these, with ADD or ADHD, or even in the spectrum of autism. If they can keep it on, they're pretty amazing. I believe personally the magnetics ground us, but it's the pink or green tourmaline that's in this necklace that is tremendously putting off negative ions, which are soothing and comforting, like the ocean, being by the ocean or being by a waterfall. Now, I've had foot surgery and I've had some other things. Oh, so let me fess up again. So I'm not diagnosed, but I diagnosed myself as ADD. So this helps ground me and protect me. The other thing is, I don't know about you, but I have this computer, I've got another computer. When I turn them on and I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi, about 10 Wi-Fi channels come up. And maybe Gary can clean this up later for me, but we are bombarded like radio waves and different things at us. And I think this fortifies us, and it kind of just has it go up over us and not bombard us or scramble us. The only time I feel scrambled is when I walk into maybe like a downtown, or I think of the government buildings with all that stainless steel, the beams and everything. And I walk in and I go, now where am I going? Where am I? Because it's just that draining, not being connected to the magnetic field and such. Now I had foot surgery. And so I took, so this is two bracelets. And I do this sometimes with my animals. I have them around their neck. But for me, if I'm, they were talking about sore in the back of the neck, sore in the front of the neck, then you got the 3 magnetics on the front and 3 on the back. And it's more of a choker as well. And you can put 2 black ones together. But with my foot surgery, I kept one of these around my ankle all the time. And the doctor was always amazed at how quick I was healing and mending. I don't know for a fact, but I do know that the energy, the natural energy is tremendous, and that's the magnetics. So thanks for having me on, and I appreciate
That's wonderful. Thank you, Barbara. Used to be from Florida, now from California.
it.
Okay, Hattie Jane.
Thanks for the word, because it's like, where we write it? Where we write it? Oops, thanks. Mine started a number of years ago also, and I had that lovely reality since probably birth of having nasal congestion and sneezing and wheezing, yada, yada, yada. But mine wasn't seasonal. It was month after month. And it was like, okay, so you take the pills and get dry mouth and all that good stuff. But stuff was still there and it didn't feel good. So when I heard the comment by someone who's sharing her experience, she had a very, very big problem with her lungs that the doctors had diagnosed for her. And she was living with it. And it wasn't easy. And that was what it was. And she was doing, but she said, I put this thing on my chest. In fact, in those days, we had one this big. I put this thing on my chest here, and I feel so much better. I can feel like I can take a deep breath, and I feel so much better. So thereupon, well, down the pike, I knew when I got near to something that was like pine trees and so forth, or I was trimming something like that I really would sneeze. So I put a little one right here. I taped the sucker on, and my nose didn't drip. I said, And so I did some more. And a few other the magnetics and over the years. I'm breathing now, or as others have done with knotting it. That's what I was doing for a while, because that would put it right next to my vocal cords and right on top of this area that I identified as helping me take a deep breath constantly. And what I found just recently, have found that 2 bracelets together, put around my neck. I don't have to, where did I put it down? Here it is. I don't have to go around always wearing my metal, so to speak, which is the newest generation of our magnetics, and it combines the infrared and a dynamic pattern of the stable magnetic field. Now, so I'm hot to trot on magnets, because that's the first thing gave me a good deep breath.
A good deep breath is nice. That's wonderful. We're hearing all kinds of interesting things. How about Dee? How about your story? Thanks, Addie.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so when I was in my mid-30s, I was in a car accident, and along with some other things, my top front teeth were bashed in, fracture of my collarbone. So it was, more than a whiplash on my neck to do that kind of trauma. And so I ended up with a lot of neck issues for years. Limited range of motion, lots of stiffness, lots of achiness, all of that. So when I was introduced to Nikken and the products almost 14 years ago, I was happy to try something around my neck. And so now I wear the PowerBand with a knot in it, because I like it sort of as a choker close to my throat here. And with the other 2 magnetic beads in the back next to the clasps, so that that neck is getting some extra support. And I often wear it in combination with our metal necklace, which comes in the silver or in the gold. And I will often wear the heart, which is silver on one side, gold on the other, depending on which necklace I'm wearing. And so I don't end up having those discomforts daily like I used to have. And so it's almost like if I'm wearing some other kind of jewelry, I will have one of the metal necklaces in combination with it as well, not just for the fashion piece of it, but for the comfort piece, which is really most important to me. And I'm going to be heading to our neighborhood pool when we're done with this. And so I will put one of the power bands around my ankle, because I won't be having my insoles in my shoes, of course, because I'll be barefooted in the pool. And I just feel like it's that extra energy and support. And I'll have this black one on as well, because it can get wet,
Mhm.
and I'll take off the metal one and I'll still feel supported and like I'm getting great nature energy. So thank you.
Wow, thank you, Dee. I'm happy that you found something that could help you and to relieve that hurt that you had. Wow.
Sure.
Okay, Gary, why don't you tell us your story? Clear from Maine. And are you muted, Gary?
Okay.
There we
Hi,
go.
Elaine. Thanks for inviting me. So I too was in a car accident some years ago on Cape Cod, sideswiped, and the result was injury to my neck. And it was such that though I did the traditional medical route, nothing really sort of held or kept in place beyond the visit. So along comes Nikken, and with the magnetic necklace, now I too don't like wearing jewelry. So I take the regular necklace and added the bracelet to it, and I put it on. And when I put this on the very first time, I felt like I just sort of like sunk into the cushion. It just sort of that sort of a feeling. But the result also for me is that if I'm driving a car, prior to the Nikken product, I could see to the passenger to my right. It's going to be backward on the screen, but I can see to the passenger fine, but I couldn't see to the left.
Oh,
And now after wearing this, I have this sort of range of motion all the time. So that to me was a real gift. And then one other thing regarding this, I live in Portland on a hill near the ocean. I love to walk, but coming home, climbing the hill, I tend to tire out. And where I get tired is right where that injury is. That's the first part where I feel tired. So I put the power chip on. And when I put this on my neck, I put this power chip so it lands right on the very top of my spine. And I go on a walk the same distance and I can come back, climb the hill fine, and don't have that agony and that tired feeling in my neck. So rah, rah. And this is long enough for me that I don't have to parade around with a necklace on, which works.
nobody knows. You get the comfort and the benefit and nobody knows.
Right.
That's super. I love how you've adapted it and you worked with it. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's a real find for me.
Well, yeah, I've had days like that too, where your neck is so stiff and you're going, I am so not safe driving. So to
yeah.
have something that allows full range of motion is incredible.
Right.
Wow. I love all of this and no medication. Barbara, did you have something to add?
I did. Thanks, Elaine. After what Gary just said, I had a young girl get 2 necklaces of the chains, and she wore it around her neck, and she took the second one and attached it to the back and let it just drape down her spine. So everywhere she moved, it was giving her this little magnetic, yeah. So I'm glad you shared that, Gary. That's awesome. But
Yeah.
one of the things I like to underline is that we are so stressed, in life, and sleep is one of the main things that calms us down and starts to unwind us, right? And most of us, some of us sleep on magnetic toppers and such. So we're unwinding and de-stressing all night long. If there's nothing on us during the day, it could be the chip, it could be the bracelet, it could be different things. It will stop us from being winding right back up again. Having that vicious cycle of unwinding, winding back up. It'll allow us to get to the next level of de-stressing and actually being more attuned to our body. So I just wanted to underline that, because as you start to get the natural energies and away from some of the other medicines or things, or if you've had trauma like surgery or car wrecks, all these things are traumas to the body. It'll help us recalibrate our body and get us back on sync. So I just wanted to underline that part about the nighttime, daytime products as well.
Yeah, that's a nice idea, because
Yeah,
the
it is.
nighttime is when we rejuvenate, and a lot of us do have that, but we need it in the daytime too. Dee, did you have something else that you wanted to add?
Yes, I have a friend whose son is now 15, and for about the last year and a half, he has been using the PowerBand necklace, and he can't even say what it does, other that he feels better when he's wearing it. And he lost it and asked his mom to get him another one because he missed it. But his mom notices that he's calmer and more focused. So for a teenage boy to be willing to do that is pretty nice, that he knows what's going to help himself.
That is awesome. I'm wondering, Bruce or Sandra or Carla or Linda, do you have anything about the necklace that you would like to add? Bruce, you're muted.
I can talk about the sleep system. I've been on it for 24, 25 years.
Oh, yes, because Barbara mentioned that. Please.
If I'm traveling and I check my blood sugars in the morning, if I'm traveling and I'm not on a sleep system, my blood sugars are 2 or 3 points higher than when I'm on my sleep system. So there's something going on when I'm sleeping that's helping my pancreas or whatever to, when I get up in the morning, the blood sugars are lower. So as a diabetic, I need it. Like, it's big time for me.
Thank you. That's interesting. That's measurable. Wow. Wow. Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts? Okay, Sandra.
I like that with the necklace and with the bracelets, you can adjust it and put it around either ankle. We can also literally double wrap it if one ankle is particularly swollen or uncomfortable. And I have enjoyed wearing, well, Al wears 2 necklaces, this, because he says he feels more comfortable with it. And I like that we can determine how we want it and where we can put it. When I heard that for a certain gland located in the neck, people were using the 3 beads, the 3 magnetic balls at the front, I said, oh, that's good. Well, I don't have that issue. I don't want it. Let me just preventatively put all 3 of mine right there. So I do. And it's easy to adjust it. It should be just below where a man's Adam's apple is. We don't have the Adam's apple, but in that location, you want those magnets right there. And to get it the depth, the distance down or up, it's easy to put a knot in it, and you can make the knot as big or as small as you want to make it shorter or to make it longer. So it's just very, very adjustable. But I just love the neckband and the wristband. But men, you don't have to deal with this. But I love having magnetics at my brain. So I'm just so glad that Nikken has had earrings, and for each of the earrings, I typically get at least 2 pair, so that if I lose one, I still have a spare. But I might look sharp sometimes, but I've got magnetic help.
It helps to create better clarity.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting. So, so these necklaces can be used for so many things that we've found to help protect us against electromagnetic frequencies, to help stop hurts, but also just to help us function. when nothing else does. And we could go on and on. To use in the daytime so that we've got that extra energy in the daytime where, we're not have that. That's just really wonderful and super. A couple of people have mentioned the power chip. It's a little round magnet about this size, has a little hook on it that you actually can hook on, the metal. Well, Nikken, the company Nikken is one. Yep, there we go. Is the company who created magnetic insoles, and they just sold like hotcakes. And everyone said, wow, these are helping. So Nikken said, well, what else can we do? And so they put magnets strategically in mattresses. And that, yep, there's the insole. And it helped people just create this wonderful cocoon of energy, and all kinds of things were happening that were wonderful. And so they created magnets that were of different shapes. And so that's what Hattie Jane was mentioning first, that she would just tape on. And so the heart that Dee has, can you show us that again, Dee? So that's just prettier, and the necklaces are just flat out prettier and nicer than taping something like that on. So, but I mean, you could just buy one of these little guys and just tape it on, but so much more versatile. Oh, thank you very much. How fun. And I have learned a lot, and just love being with you and appreciate it. And we will see you all another time. Go out.
Thank you, Elaine, for having this. Look forward to seeing it.
Well, I appreciate all your smiles, and you go and find some other people to smile at, and we'll raise the energy of the whole
Thank you,
world.
Elaine.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.